Hey guys, I'm Wilson Scrabzoo with GosuGamers, and we are here today with two members of Immortals who have been voted the most promising team of 2016 into 2017. Would you guys please introduce yourselves?
Hey, I'm George Maganzini, also known as Hyped and and I play Flex Tank for Immortals.
What's going on, guys? I'm Chris GrimReality Schaefer. I play main DPS for Immortals.
Yeah, so starting from George and then going on to Chris, what are your guys' backgrounds in esports?
My background in esports is pretty much just Hearthstone. I've always just been a Blizzard fanboy, so I played from World of Warcraft, StarCraft, Diablo. I played everything, and then when Hearthstone came out, I wasn't even that into card games, but I just fell in love with it and managed to go pro. And now I'm moving on to Overwatch.
Yeah, for me, I don't really have any esports experience. I used to watch Pro League of Legends, and I definitely was very interested. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this environment. Me being a competitive person, it definitely suits me.
Yeah, so let's talk about kind of how much Immortals has grown. You guys were picked up right before the Overwatch Open started, and from there to now, there's definitely been a lot of changes, a lot of growth. Where do you guys feel like you guys improved the most coming from the Overwatch Open to today?
Oh, geez, that's pretty hard. The Overwatch Open was actually our first LAN. There were definitely a lot of first LAN experiences we weren't ready for. The jitters, the new setups, when you're someone that's just basically played in your own room, your own setup the whole time, just moving from a setup can be jarring. Computers, there's so many different things, and definitely I'm just glad to have it under our belts, that weirdness, so we can improve upon that next time. And then as far as that, we've really stepped up our game when it comes to practice and just structure. We have a coach on board. Our scrims are just a lot more serious and they're higher quality, and really actually kind of surprised we've been improving so quickly. Honestly, it's we've made a lot of plans to improve over the long haul, and it's great to see some of them already coming to fruition now.
Yeah, I completely agree, actually. I think that we've also done a really good job on keeping our emotions stable, not getting too high during tournaments and not getting too low. And we're definitely going to keep on improving on that.
Yeah, so a great way to kind of improve is definitely to keep up your scrims and stuff like that. Could you kind of go over what the scrim culture is like in North America, and kind of how you guys find scrims, and as a starting team when you guys are first starting out, was it difficult to find scrims?
Oh yeah, scrims are pretty new to me. In other games I played, I never scrimmed before. But generally it's we go for 6 to 8 hours, which I think is on the higher end of scrims. And we even did a lot of boot camping over the break when it was harder to find scrims over winter break, near the holidays. But we wanted to scrim those days, so our manager managed to find the other teams that wanted to keep those days, and we just set up boot camps, which were pretty cool. So 6 hours a day with a single team. Thanks to our performance coach at Immortals, we kind of started this thing where we get teams to agree to 1 hour and 45-minute blocks, and blocks that start 15 minutes after the hour to fit in more breaks, just so we could really maximize our scrim efficiency, I guess, and so we can really bring our all to each scrim and get rest in between. And to answer the other question about starting out, we weren't too worried about our scrim partners when we were starting out, because we just were really practicing just ourselves, and we were happy to have whatever scrim partners we had. But we caught a few breaks. Usually after you lose to someone in a tournament, someone really good, but maybe you put up a good fight, you ask them for a scrim. And so we found 1 or 2 scrims that way, and then somehow we got a scrim with Energy. And it was really exciting because it was our first really top tier scrim partner. And we're all right, everybody, we have to do good. So we get asked to scrim again, and we got destroyed, but they were willing to scrim us again. So shout out to Energy for helping us out.
Yeah, and having a couple of closed beta players, it just allowed us to ask more people, and a lot of those people were our friends, so they were definitely nice enough to let us scrim. They may not have been tier 1 scrims, but practice and practice. You can practice comms, and especially when you're starting out, you really need to practice the core foundations almost more than mechanics. It wasn't too hard for us to find early scrims.
So a lot of people actually don't know what kind of goes on behind the scenes in scrims. So what would be something that you guys as a team practice that the general audience wouldn't know that you guys put a lot of effort into?
So I mean, we practice a lot of things. Mainly different combos, positionings, and compositions, which is all pretty straightforward, right? That's the stuff you see in tournaments and all that. We definitely practice pretty straightforward things. I would say some big practice out of scrims even is the stuff off camera, right? Which is inventing all of that stuff, the comps, looking over maps and seeing their LOS points and assigning positions, and then also watching VODs. It's really good to see what you could have done better in a situation and to actually get a different outlook on the game.
Another thing we work on that I don't think is that common is we're always working on our mental game. You always know, like, when you're playing, you don't want to get too tilted and get in your head, and you want to keep focused. But another aspect of that our coach has us work on is that he doesn't want us to get too low and like get upset and get up and play bad, but also he doesn't want us to get too high, as he puts it, like get too happy about something, because then you're not focusing on the next play. So we're always trying to keep our emotions like fairly steady, so we can, and then we try to maintain that in a tournament environment. When we first started entering tournaments, we'd lose to teams we'd beat in scrims. So there's a weird way that we had to kind of bridge that gap. So we tried really hard to make our scrims feel like tournament. And then something a few of us I like doing too is trying to make our tournament games feel a little bit more like scrims, which is sometimes like why you see us like messing around in the waiting room in a tournament game on stream. Sometimes that's just us trying to like loosen the mood.
Yeah, so it definitely looks like you guys spend a lot of time practicing, day to day. Could you give us a rundown of what your schedule is like when you guys are in the Immortal house together and when you guys are kind of like maybe in your own setups?
Yeah, so I actually learned, Immortals taught us a lot about like how things operate in the team house for League of Legends, and even how they operate for Counter-Strike a little bit, which are vastly different. League of Legends is like a lot of hours, as much hours as you can get. The whole house is designed around like having the support there and having just like being able to maximize time played and recovery so that the time played is more effective. And so it's all about time for that. Whereas for Counter-Strike, I think they were telling us they only scrim like 5 or 6 hours a day, but it's more about keeping those 5 or 6 hours as intense as possible. But as far as what we did specifically, would just wake up around like the same time, say like 10 or 11. We'd exercise, either go on a quick run or go to the gym, and then we'd have dinner or breakfast just made for us. And then we just go straight into playing, either like get a little practice range in, get a little warm up, and then start scrimming. And then in between scrims, they'd encourage us to like get up, walk around, maybe have a snack. Sometimes snacks were brought to us mid scrims, like just like bowls of fruit would appear cut up in front of us, or like weird little milkshakes and stuff. And then that just allowed us to like spend all the time we wanted playing.
How my schedule is at my actual house is kind of similar with the wake up time. I usually wake up at around like 10 to 11. And we have about the same scrim schedule. So like 6 to 8 hours a day, mostly 8, especially recently. So I usually just like wake up, try to get something to eat. Don't really work out. Work out like I did at the Immortals house. Probably should get onto that. And usually in between breaks, I'll like grab a snack or something. Once scrims are done, I'll usually try to squeeze like 1 to 2 hours of comp in after the day. Because I think like playing is pretty important, especially like with a game like Overwatch that with the meta changing like all the time. It's good to be on top of your stuff,
Yeah, so let's actually talk more about kind of the concept of team houses. So you guys mentioned League of Legends, and it often seems that League of Legends teams are always the first teams that really grab a team house. However, for other esports, for example, like something like Counter-Strike or even Overwatch, teams are less likely to kind of get into team house, maybe because there are different aspects, different pros and cons to having a team house. Do you guys feel like having a team house is essential to becoming a really good team, or do you feel like teams can do it without it?
Based on our boot camp we had at the Immortals League House when they weren't there, I think it was awesome because just like having everyone wake up at the exact same time and like taking care of like eating and exercise at the exact same time means there's so much more time throughout the day to organize and plan and just play. And that was really awesome. Of course, the downside to team houses is like, maybe you get sick of having to be around the people you work with, like when you're not working or playing, and like sometimes there's probably like drama and you get annoyed with people. So we didn't get to experience that, but I really like how, I guess, I don't know if they started it, but how the NV team has like their apartments and their office. And we want to try to, I don't want to reveal too much, but I heard Immortals is trying to do something similar.
Yeah, I agree. I really like the team house environment. I think it's like really beneficial to like a certain group of people. I think certain individuals, it might be better just to like stay at home or like have an apartment type ordeal. For me personally, like being in a team house definitely gave me like a new respect for my teammates. I respected them, at the start of it, don't get me wrong, but seeing them in person, playing with them, right by my side really made me like appreciate everything they do and made me want to try even harder,
Sometimes it's nice too, just like when you're trying to explain something, to have like a whiteboard there and have everyone there so you could just draw it. Something as simple as that like helps me a lot.
Or if you want to just show off your sick art, and then you got options there.
So you guys were voted the most promising team of 2016, but obviously there are a lot of other teams who have been doing well and who will be improving in 2017. What are your guys' teams to watch looking forward to the new year?
I really think that Spicy Boys is like looking very good right now. Saying that, I'm like pretty good friends with the team. I'm excited to see where the future is going to take them, which I know it's going to be good places, hopefully, you know. They're definitely looking very strong right now. People need to start looking at them. I also think Energy, they're going to start making a very good showing soon. Like, they're a pretty creative team, right? They've shown this in the past with, like, different Junkrat comps and blah, blah, blah. Just a very creative team. And with the direction Blizzard's trying to take Overwatch, where they want, like, diversity possible, and they want everything to be balanced, that's kind of where a team like Energy thrives, where they're not afraid to bust out, like, a random Pharah and a hit scan meta, or like, you know what I mean? Like, they're willing to take these risks and they're willing to go the extra mile. So I definitely think they're going to start turning heads in 2017.
Yeah, I would agree with both those. And also my main team to watch out for is Luminosity. They've been our scrim partners for a while, and I consider us a very fast improving team, but they were always just matching us. Like, we'd beat them one scrim and then we'd be like, or we'd come back the next scrim, they'd stomp us, and it would just be back and forth. And that's also been reflected in our tournament games. Like, we beat them, they beat us, we beat them. It's been pretty crazy. And we were kind of worried when that huge roster shuffle happened, because they were like even with us, and we were like, oh, this is going to set them back, and we're going to have to like wait for them to develop team synergy or find the right players and all that. But they actually were just immediately as strong as, if not stronger than before. So they're super scary. Watch out for them.
Yeah, and after they're pretty nutty right now. Like, I don't know what happened, but like within 4 days they just became insane. Definitely a scary group of people right there.
You know, this actually is kind of interesting, right? Because I think for the longest time, Overwatch has had all these really super strong teams in North America, but we didn't really have a lot of developing talent. Now we have all these like really great teams that haven't been signed to organizations yet. Why do you think now is the time that we're seeing a lot more talent emerge?
I think a pretty big part about a lot of teams coming up right now, I don't want to only label it on this, but is this specific meta. Like, a team can be really good with quad tank because you can just go in, and if you know your hero's limits, you can like really easily win brawls and fights, right? With like old combos and blah blah blah. But I also think that like potentially egos could be a problem, right? So saying that the meta changes like all the time, okay? And how I stated that you have to play all the time and a lot in this game to stay on top, right? If you don't do that, if you have an ego and you carry on your success and how good you are / think you are onto the next meta, you know, that's only gonna hurt you, right? Because let's say like I'm an insane Genji, okay, but Genji just like turns bad, but I carry on like my mentality and my ego to playing like Zarya or something, right? And I don't practice as hard as I did to become an insane Genji. I'm going to be weaker compared to a newer player that is like hungry to prove that he's like a very good Zarya, that he's a very good player, you know? So I think it's really important to never sit on the thought that you're a good player necessarily. I think that definitely limits some teams.
A lot of it too is, I would say, like just like the barrier of entry. Like, you have these top teams that were in beta that were almost untouchable, and like a lot of people want to compete with them, but like they don't even have the game yet. So once the game comes out, they finally like get to start practicing. They get to, and then they start looking for a team. But it's actually pretty hard to get on a team. There weren't that many, but finally now like there's Discords and stuff and Reddit, and you can like actually, a lot of people are just putting together teams. So like now, if you're an aspiring player, it should be pretty easy to find a tryout for a team, or you can just make your own. Again, like a lot of people have been, and then there's a lot more teams to scrim at that lower level and just work your way out. So, I mean, the competition's only going to get harder as time goes on and more people get in the game.
So, looking forward to next year, you know, what do you guys have any resolutions or wish lists for things you guys want to see happen either in the competitive scene for Overwatch or maybe just something in game?
I'll start with my main wish list is probably in line with the Blizzard designers' wish list, is just that I want more class diversity or more viability of all classes or heroes. Because I play the flex role because I like playing like a wide variety of heroes, but I end up, you know, just playing a Zarya or a Diva, which is fun. But, you know, I'd really like to just have more swaps, like not even for myself, just like my whole team, like swapping more throughout the game. I know some people kind of don't like that play style, but I I think it'd be cool.
I would say a general rule for my resolution is just like become an all-around better person and player. I just want to be really positive in 2017 and be able to like work and push myself harder than I ever really have.
Yeah, I mean, those are definitely great wish lists and resolutions. I definitely, think that there's always room to improve, and I think that you guys have the drive to definitely do it. So before we wrap up the interview, do you guys have any shout outs for your fans or your sponsors?
I just give a shout out to Immortals for supporting us, and to my lovely girlfriend Bianca, who's also our team manager.
Yeah, I'll also like to shout out Immortals, all of my fans and Twitter followers. Definitely want to shout out my parents as well. They've like really supported me throughout this whole journey and made sure that I am where I am right now. And also my best friend Xavier. I've known him for 11 years now. He's definitely like one of my number one supporters. I know if we're doing bad, he's always got my back. So huge shout out to those people.
Yeah, and on my side, shout outs to GosuGamers for first of all making this interview possible. Also to everyone who voted in the GosuAwards competition. The GosuAwards contest. Not even really contest. I guess this is an award show. But obviously, thank you for everyone in the committee who did vote for Immortals. I think that you guys are definitely one of the strongest squads around in North America, and your performance in the NGE has shown that. And I think that you guys are definitely going to make waves in the next year. And I hope you guys keep improving, stay hungry, and good luck with your upcoming competitions.
Seriously, thanks a lot for having us, and thanks everybody who voted for us, and GosuGamers for supporting us throughout this whole journey.
All right, thank you for the interview.